In 1996, the company behind Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men, and Captain America went bankrupt. Not struggling, not having a rough year. Legally, officially bankrupt. And the plan they used to survive it was so risky, they nearly lost the rights to their own superheroes forever. This is how Marvel almost died and then conquered Hollywood anyway. By the mid-1990s, Marvel wasn't just making comics anymore. It had expanded into trading cards, toys, and all kinds of side businesses. Then the comic book market crashed. Hard. Sales collapsed almost overnight. At the same time, two billionaires were fighting for control of the company itself. Ron Perlman and Carl Icahn, both pulling Marvel in different directions while the business bled money underneath them. In December 1996, Marvel filed for bankruptcy. Think about that. The company that owned some of the most valuable fictional characters ever created couldn't pay its bills. Here's what almost nobody outside the company understood at the time. Marvel wasn't actually broke because comics stopped selling. Marvel was broke because it didn't understand what it actually owned. For years, Marvel had been licensing out movie rights to its characters for relatively small amounts of money. Spider-Man's film rights went to Sony, X-Men's rights went to Fox. When those movies became hits, the studios kept almost all the profit. Marvel got a small check and a thank you. They were sitting on some of the most valuable characters in entertainment history and letting other companies get rich off them. So in 2005, new leadership at Marvel made a decision that sounded almost reckless. Instead of licensing out more characters, they were going to make the movies themselves. The problem? Marvel didn't have anywhere close to enough money to fund big-budget films, so they went to Merrill Lynch and took out a loan, $525 million. And here's the part that should make your stomach drop. To secure that loan, Marvel put up the film rights to its own characters as collateral: Captain America, Thor, Nick Fury, Black Panther, Hawkeye. If the movies flopped, Marvel wouldn't just lose money, they could lose the legal rights to their own heroes, permanently. Here's the twist. Marvel's two biggest characters, Spider-Man and X-Men, were already locked away at other studios. They couldn't use them for this plan, so Marvel had to build their entire cinematic future around a character most casual fans barely knew at the time: Iron Man. To direct it, they hired Jon Favreau, who wasn't exactly a proven blockbuster director. To star in it, they cast Robert Downey Jr., a genuinely talented actor, but one with a well-known history of personal struggles that made studios nervous about insuring him for a massive production. Every piece of this decision was a risk. The character, the director, the lead actor, the loan, all stacked on top of each other. In May 2008, Iron Man was released. It wasn't just a hit. It redefined what a superhero movie could be, and it launched something nobody had fully attempted before: a connected universe of movies, all building toward each other. The bet worked. Iron Man alone made hundreds of millions of dollars worldwide. That success gave Marvel enough leverage and credibility to keep building. More movies, more characters, more box office records. By 2009, just a few years after nearly losing its own heroes to a bank, Marvel was bought by Disney for $4 billion. A decade later, Avengers Endgame became one of the highest-grossing films ever released. Sit with that for a second. This wasn't a company that had a slow, steady rise. This was a company that hit rock bottom, realized it had been giving away its own crown jewels for years, and then bet everything, including the legal rights to its own characters, on a director nobody was sure about, an actor nobody wanted to insure, and a hero nobody outside the comics knew yet. That bet could have ended Marvel completely. Instead, it built one of the biggest entertainment empires on the planet. Sometimes surviving isn't about playing it safe. Sometimes it's about betting everything on the one thing you actually believe in, even when the bank owns your own heroes, until you prove it. If you enjoyed this story, hit follow, because this is just the beginning of the GOATs.